What would you like to do? Would you take the 20 million and run and put it into another midfielder that can play behind it? Would you go and take that 20 and go and buy Alex Scott? Or 20 plus 10 and go and get Alex Scott? That to me makes a lot more sense than hanging on and hoping that at the fifth time of asking, Tanguy and NDOMBELE might fall in love with the words of a manager and find a third gear to drop into, because we haven't seen it for a long time. Hi everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I'm Sean Butler. Over there in the front is Bugsy Malone doing what she does. Are you doing what you do? Are you doing the things that make you happy and that keep you healthy? I very much hope so. Please do me a favour, guys, smash the like button for me on the video like you always do. Smash the subscribe on the channel if you haven't already. Join the near 11,100 of you that have gone before. Welcome back to all the old. Welcome to the new. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on today's topic. And this is the second video of the day, so we have to talk about the second news item of the day. And it's about Tanguy, NDOMBELE. News out of L'Equipe, the French, national French sporting tabloid this morning, early afternoon, is that Tottenham have turned down a £20 million bid for the French midfielder. And that the plan, or the rationale, is that Ange Postecoglou wants to run his eye, give a second lease of life, a 15th chance to NDOMBELE. Now, my first thought when I saw it was, it's nonsense, surely. Surely, having spent the last 2 seasons struggling to loan him out, struggling to get any kind of obligatory clause to purchase the guy pending any certain outcomes, someone comes in with a £20 million bid. Unless the contract terms were derisory, but ultimately you'd take it and you'd run, wouldn't you? He's clearly not fit for purpose, a very talented player, but talent gets you nowhere without hard work, without effort, without work rate. And so I was like, this can't be true. But it comes from L'Equipe, and L'Equipe is like, it's a good journal. It's I don't know, is it the Sky Sports of the kind of physical print in France? I don't really know how to describe L'Equipe, but most of the time you take that with some sort of level of integrity. And so you make the assumption that there is some truth to it, and that Tottenham need to wonder, or Tottenham fans need to wonder, why this was rejected out of hand. And so I'm starting to kind of read between the lines and thinking, is it really like a sorry, no rejection, or is it more of a, hey listen, I appreciate the interest, but Ange wants to run his eye over everybody firsthand before he makes any decisions. So I'm not going to say no, I'm just going to say not yet. And if that's the case, then I understand it. And you would hope that in the week or two's time, when eventually Ange Postecoglou would figure out that the guy doesn't have the energy levels or the willingness to compete in an effort-based system, which is what Ange Postecoglou's system requires, that eventually Ange would give Daniel Levy a knock on the door and say, hey, about that French offer for Tanguy is still available, right? You'd hope that would be the case, or at least I would. Let me know your thoughts. Do you feel the same way? To me, look, the guy's talent has never been in question or never been in doubt. Wonderful player, just not a wonderful teammate, not a wonderful workhorse, not someone who wants to put the effort in. Like I say, to me personally, Ange Postecoglou apparently is this typical Antipodean, this kind of winning personality that, you know, binds people into a belief system that you can get behind. I've lived in Australia. I was on the receiving end of being won over by sales managers and managers in general, people in general, who have the ability to say the things that you want to hear and then back it up. I love Australians, always have done. And Ange has clearly had that impact on players like Vicario, players like Maddison. How often do you really hear players in their intro videos, their introductory interviews, mentioning the impact of the manager in the initial meeting as one of the reasons and the justifications to bring him on board or to get behind the movement? And we've heard that twice. I'm hoping that we're going to see a similar outcome when it comes to Harry Kane when he gets back from holiday, and that's pertinent to the conversation I put out on the video earlier regarding Bayern Munich. One second. And so listen, I'm very much enthused by what Ange Postecoglou's wordplay can seem to get over the line. It seems like he is someone who is winning the hearts and minds of the people that he talks to. And maybe, just maybe, that's all that Tanguy and Ndombele needs, is someone who can convince him to run the extra yard, to drive harder for the ball. If that is the case, then you probably have to question the credibility of the managers that have gone before that have failed with Tanguy and Ndombele. I'm going to lean into reality and say that's probably not the case, and that Tanguy just isn't that sort of personality. He doesn't have that ambitious nature where he wants to fight against his body's instincts to say when he's tired to stop running. Call it lazy, call it whatever you want. I'm not convinced that Ange meeting with Tanguy and watching him play for 2 weeks is going to change anything. And I think that in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time that Ange will say, yeah, for me, he's not the guy after all. And then I just wonder whether or not, if there is any truth to this rumour, that there is actually a French club or a club who was willing to pay £20 million. I really hope that if that did exist, then by then, when Daniel Levy picks the phone back up and says, hey, are you still interested? That the answer will be yes rather than no. Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'm not convinced it's true anyway, but it comes from a relatively sincere journal. I'd love to know who that club was that was willing to pay the money. And we'll see where we go from it. What would you like to do? Would you take the 20 million and run and put it into another midfielder that can play behind it? Would you go and take that 20 and go and buy Alex Scott? Or 20 plus 10 and go and get Alex Scott? That to me makes a lot more sense than hanging on and hoping that at the fifth time of asking, Tanguy and Ndombele might fall in love with the words of a manager and find a third gear to drop into, because we haven't seen it for a long time. If it's true, and I'm not sure it is, then I really hope that Ange Postecoglou's choice here to not liquidate the asset is not going to backfire. I'd imagine it's not true anyway, but we shall see. Like, subscribe and comment, guys, and as always, bye bye.